Dear listeners, I welcome you to my channel. Leave your comments and impressions, I value your opinion. The evening sun casts long shadows across the living room as I sit on the edge of our leather couch, nursing a glass of whiskey. The amber liquid swirls in the dim light, reflecting the turmoil inside me. The silence is broken by the sound of the front door clicking shut. Emily's heels clack against the wooden floor, echoing ominously, "She's home." My heart thuds in my chest, a heavy drumbeat of dread and anticipation. Emily steps into the room, her auburn hair cascading over her shoulders, a sly smile playing on her lips. There's something different about her tonight, a strange glint in her eyes that I can't quite place. She takes a seat opposite me, crossing her legs deliberately, her skirt riding up just enough to be provocative. "Honey, we need to talk," she says, her voice dripping with an unsettling mix of sweetness and mischief. I take a deep breath, bracing myself for whatever bombshell she's about to drop. "What is it, Emily?" She leans forward, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that sends a shiver down my spine. "I've been thinking, our sex life has become a bit predictable, don't you think?" I almost choke on my drink. Of all the things I expected her to say, this wasn't one of them. "What do you mean?" Emily's smile widens, and she moves to sit beside me, her hand resting on my thigh. "I want to try something new, something exciting. I've been doing some research, and I found this idea that could be thrilling." My mind races, trying to keep up with her sudden change in demeanor. "And what exactly did you have in mind?" She takes a deep breath, her fingers trailing up my leg. "A sexual experiment. It's called the ultimate trust game. It involves blindfolds, restraints, and complete surrender to your partner's whims." My jaw drops, and for a moment, I'm at a loss for words. Emily has always been adventurous, but this is a whole new level. "You're serious?" "Absolutely." She leans closer, her breath hot against my ear. Imagine the thrill of giving up control, of pushing our boundaries. As she speaks, memories of the past few months flood my mind, her late nights at work, the secretive texts, the undeniable scent of another man's cologne on her clothes. Anger and betrayal bubble beneath the surface, but I push them down, focusing on the opportunity she's just handed me on a silver platter. "All right," I say, forcing a smile. "Let's do it. But if we're going to play this game, we play by my rules." Emily's eyes widen in surprise, but she quickly recovers, her smile returning. "Of course, darling, your rules." I stand, taking her hand and leading her upstairs to our bedroom. My mind races with possibilities, each one darker and more satisfying than the last. This is my chance to turn the tables, to regain control. Inside the bedroom, I pull open a drawer and retrieve a length of silk rope and a blindfold. Emily watches with an eager glint in her eye, her breath quickening in anticipation. "Undress," I command, my voice firm. She complies, slipping out of her clothes with practiced ease. Her body, as familiar as it is, now feels like a weapon, a means to an end. I guide her to the bed, tying her wrists to the headboard with deliberate care. The blindfold slips over her eyes, plunging her into darkness. "Are you ready?" I ask, my voice low and controlled. "Yes," she whispers, her voice trembling with excitement. I step back, taking a moment to savor the sight before me. This is it, the moment of truth. I lean in, my lips brushing against her ear. "Remember, Emily, you said complete surrender." She nods, her breath hitching in her throat. "I trust you." Those three words ignite a fire within me. Trust. The very thing she shattered with her infidelity. I have no intention of playing fair. She wanted a thrilling experience, and that's exactly what she'll get. As I begin to explore her body, my touch alternating between gentle and rough, I can see the effect it has on her. She squirms, gasps, and moans, completely at my mercy. But this isn't just about pleasure, it's about power. My power. Minutes stretch into hours, and I push her limits, testing her trust. Her responses become more frantic, her body trembling with a mix of fear and desire. Finally, she begs for release, her voice hoarse and desperate. "Please, Jack, I can't take any more." I pause, my fingers lingering on her skin. "You wanted this, remember? The ultimate thrill." I didn't expect," she trails off, her voice breaking. I untie her wrists, the silk rope slipping away easily. She pulls off the blindfold, her eyes wide and filled with a mixture of confusion and lingering arousal. "What just happened?" I sit beside her, my expression cold and calculating. You wanted excitement. I gave it to you. She swallows hard, her hands trembling. This wasn't what I imagined. I stand, walking to the window and staring out at the darkening sky. You've asked for this, Emily, and we're not done yet. From now on, we play by my rules. She looks at me, a mixture of fear and curiosity in her eyes. What do you mean? I turn to face her, my lips curling into a predatory smile. You'll see. This is just the beginning. As the weight of my words sinks in, Emily's face pales. She realizes she's opened Pandora's box, and there's no closing it now. The game has begun, and I hold all the cards. Tomorrow, I will begin executing my plan. Tomorrow, Emily will truly understand the meaning of surrender. The next morning, sunlight spills into the bedroom, casting a harsh light on the remnants of the previous night's activities. Emily stirs beside me, her eyes fluttering open, still clouded with confusion and unease. I slip out of bed quietly, pulling on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Today, the real game begins. Downstairs, I make coffee, the aroma filling the kitchen as I contemplate my next move. Emily descends the stairs, her expression guarded, as if she's trying to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces. Good morning, I say, handing her a mug. Sleep well. She takes the coffee, nodding slowly. I suppose. About last night, Jack? What are your rules? I sip my coffee, studying her over the rim of the mug. First, we need to address the trust you broke. To rebuild it, you must be completely honest with me from now on. No secrets. Her eyes flicker with guilt. I understand. Good, I say, setting my mug down. Because I've decided we need some outside perspective. Emily's brows knit together in confusion. What do you mean? Before I can answer, the doorbell rings. Emily looks at me, panic flashing across her face. Who is that? You'll see, I reply, walking to the door. I open it to reveal our closest friends, Lisa and Mark. They exchange confused glances before stepping inside. Emily's face drains of color as she realizes the gravity of the situation. Jack, what's going on? Mark asks, his tone laced with concern. Thanks for coming on such short notice, I say, guiding them into the living room. We need to have a serious conversation. Emily fidgets, her eyes darting between me and our friends. Jack, you didn't. I raise a hand, silencing her. Sit down, Emily. We're all going to talk this through. Lisa, always the perceptive one, narrows her eyes at Emily. What's this about? I take a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. Emily and I have been having some issues in our marriage. Last night, she suggested we try something new to spice things up, but it revealed deeper problems. Lisa's gaze sharpens. What kind of problems? Infidelity. I say bluntly, watching as the word hangs heavy in the air. Mark and Lisa's eyes widen in shock. Emily bows her head, tears welling up in her eyes. Jack, please. Don't do this. I ignore her plea, turning to our friends. Emily has been unfaithful, and last night she suggested a sexual experiment to fix things. But I realized we need more than just a thrill. We need accountability. Lisa's face hardens with anger. Emily, is this true? Emily nods, tears streaming down her cheeks. Yes, it's true. I made a terrible mistake. Mark looks at me, his expression sympathetic. What do you want from us, Jack? I need your help to keep her honest, I say. To ensure that she's committed to rebuilding our trust, and to witness the process. Lisa crosses her arms, her jaw set. You have our support, but this won't be easy. It's not supposed to be, I reply, but it's necessary. Emily looks at me, her eyes pleading. Jack, I'm sorry, I'll do whatever it takes. Then you'll agree to this? I ask, my voice firm. She nods, her resolve strengthening. Yes, I'll agree. Lisa and Mark stay for a while longer, discussing the plan and setting up a schedule to check in on us. Emily sits silently, her shoulders slumped in defeat. As our friends leave, she turns to me, her eyes red and swollen. Jack, I meant what I said. I'll do anything to fix this. I nod, my expression softening slightly. I know you will. But it's going to be a long road. Over the next few days, the atmosphere in our home shifts. There's a tension, a sense of impending confrontation that lingers in every room. Emily is on her best behavior, trying to prove her commitment to our new arrangement. but I can see the strain in her eyes, the fear that she's losing control. One evening, as we sit down to dinner, I break the silence. Tomorrow, we're going to see a therapist. Together. Emily looks up, surprise flashing across her face. A therapist? Yes, I say. We need professional help to navigate this. She nods, her expression resigned. All right, I'll go. The next morning, we find ourselves in a warmly lit office, the walls adorned with calming artwork. Dr. Samantha Reed, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a reassuring smile, greets us. Please have a seat, she says, gesturing to the plush chairs. We sit down, and Dr. Reed looks at us with genuine interest. So, what brings you here today? Emily glances at me, then back at Dr. Reed. We had some issues in our marriage. I've made mistakes, and we're trying to rebuild trust. Dr. Reed nods, her expression understanding. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. It's good that you're here to work on it. I lean forward, my hands clasped together. We need to address the root of the problem. Emily's infidelity. Dr. Reed's eyes soften. That's a difficult thing to deal with. Emily, what led to this infidelity? Emily takes a deep breath, her voice trembling. I felt neglected. Jack was always busy with work, and I was lonely. It doesn't excuse what I did, but it's how I felt. Dr. Reed nods. It's important to understand the emotions that led to this, but it's also crucial to take responsibility for your actions. I know. Emily says, her voice breaking. I'm so sorry, Jack. I regret it every day. Dr. Reed turns to me. Jack, how do you feel about Emily's apology? I hesitate, searching for the right words. I believe she's sorry, but I need to see consistent effort to rebuild our trust. That's a fair expectation, Dr. Reed says. Trust isn't rebuilt overnight. It takes time, effort, and open communication. The session continues, and as we talk, I start to see a glimmer of hope. Emily seems genuinely committed to making amends, and Dr. Reed's guidance gives us a framework to move forward. As we leave the office, Emily reaches for my hand, her touch tentative. Thank you for giving me a chance, Jack. I won't let you down. I squeeze her hand, a small gesture of reassurance. One step at a time, Emily. We'll get through this together. But even as I say the words, a part of me wonders if this is just the calm before the storm. The road to redemption is fraught with obstacles, and only time will tell if we can truly overcome them. The days following our first therapy session are a whirlwind of emotions and tentative steps towards reconciliation. Emily is more attentive, more present, and I can see she's making an effort, but the sting of betrayal lingers, a wound that refuses to heal quickly. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at work, I come home to find Emily in the kitchen, preparing dinner. The scent of roasted chicken and herbs fills the air, a comforting aroma that momentarily eases my tension. She turns to me with a nervous smile. Hey, I thought I'd make your favorite tonight, she says, her voice soft. I nod, appreciating the gesture. Thanks, Emily, it smells great. We sit down to eat, the clinking of silverware the only sound between us. I can see the strain in her eyes, the unspoken words hovering like a storm cloud. Finally, she breaks the silence. Jack, I've been thinking about the therapist's advice, about being completely honest. I look up, meeting her gaze. Go on. She takes a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly. There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you from the beginning. My heart skips a beat, a sense of foreboding washing over me. What is it? Emily looks down at her plate, unable to meet my eyes. The man I was with, it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was an ongoing affair. His name is Daniel. The name hits me like a punch to the gut. I knew there was more to her infidelity, but hearing it confirmed is a different kind of pain. I grip my fork tightly, trying to keep my composure. How long? 6 months, she whispers, tears pooling in her eyes. 6 months, half a year of lies and deceit. I feel a surge of anger, but I force myself to stay calm. Why now, Emily? Why tell me this now? She finally looks up, her eyes pleading. Because I want to start fresh. I can't do that with secrets between us. I need you to know everything. I nod slowly, processing her words. And what about Daniel? Is he still in the picture? She shakes her head vehemently. No, I ended it as soon as I realized what I was doing to us. I haven't spoken to him since. The sincerity in her voice gives me a small measure of relief. All right, but if we're going to move forward, I need to know that this is really over. It is, she insists, reaching across the table to take my hand. I promise you, Jack, I'm committed to us. I squeeze her hand, the warmth of her touch is stark contrast to the cold reality of her confession. We'll see, it's going to take time. The next few days pass in a blur of routine and cautious interactions. We continue our therapy sessions, delving deeper into the roots of our issues. Dr. Reed helps us navigate the turbulent waters of our marriage, her calm demeanor a steady anchor. One afternoon, as we sit in her office, Dr. Reed looks at me with a thoughtful expression. Jack, how are you coping with Emily's revelations? I take a moment to gather my thoughts. It's hard. Knowing the affair lasted so long, it's difficult to trust her again. Dr. Reed nods. That's understandable. Trust is fragile, and rebuilding it takes time. But you're here, and that's a positive step. Emily looks at me, her eyes filled with remorse. I know I've hurt you deeply, Jack, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. I nod, appreciating her willingness to change. I'm willing to try, but we need to set some boundaries. Dr. Reed leans forward, her interest piqued. What kind of boundaries? Complete transparency, I say, my voice firm. No more secrets, and I need to know her schedule, who she's with, and where she goes. Emily nods, her expression serious. I agree, I'll do anything to prove my commitment. Dr. Reed smiles, a hint of satisfaction in her eyes. It sounds like you're both on the right track. Keep communicating, and don't be afraid to express your needs and concerns. As we leave the office, I feel a sense of cautious optimism. The road ahead is still uncertain, but at least we're moving forward together. That evening, as we sit on the couch watching a movie, my phone buzzes with a text message. I glance at the screen, my blood running cold as I read the words. Jack, it's Daniel. We need to talk. I stare at the message, my mind racing. Why is he reaching out now? What could he possibly have to say? Emily notices my tense expression. What's wrong? I show her the message, watching as her face pales. Daniel? Why would he contact you? I don't know, I say, my voice tight with anger. But I'm going to find out. The next day, I arrange to meet Daniel at a local cafe. The thought of facing him fills me with dread, but I need answers. As I walk in, I spot him sitting at a corner table, a nervous look on his face. I approach, my jaw clenched. Daniel. He looks up, guilt and anxiety etched across his features. Jack, thanks for meeting me. I sit down, my gaze fixed on him. What do you want? He takes a deep breath, his hands fidgeting. I need to tell you something. I know I hurt you, and I'm sorry for that, but there's more you need to know. I narrow my eyes, suspicion gnawing at me. What do you mean? He hesitates, then reaches into his bag and pulls out a stack of papers. Emily and I, we were involved in more than just an affair. We made some bad decisions, financial decisions. My heart sinks as I glance at the papers. What kind of decisions? Daniel looks at me, his expression grim. Investments, risky ones. We lost a lot of money, Jack. And Emily owes a significant amount. The weight of his words crashes down on me, the betrayal deepening. Why didn't she tell me? She was scared, he says, his voice low. Scared of losing you, scared of what it would mean for your marriage. I stare at the papers, my mind reeling. This is more than I'd ever anticipated. Emily's betrayal runs deeper than I thought. I stand up, my hands trembling with rage. This isn't over, Daniel. Not by a long shot. As I leave the cafe, I feel a storm brewing inside me. Emily's secrets have pushed us to the brink, and now, more than ever, I need to decide if our marriage is worth saving. The path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty, but one thing is clear. The game has changed, and the stakes are higher than ever. I drive home from the cafe, my mind racing with thoughts of betrayal and deception. Emily's involvement with Daniel wasn't just an affair, it was a financial disaster. The weight of her secrets threatens to crush the fragile trust we've been trying to rebuild. When I walk through the door, Emily is waiting for me in the living room, her face pale and drawn. She stands as I enter, her eyes searching mine. Jack, what did Daniel want? I tossed the stack of papers onto the coffee table, watching as her eyes widen in horror. He told me everything, Emily. About the money, the investments, the debt. Her face crumples, and she sinks onto the couch, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I'm so sorry, Jack. I didn't know how to tell you. I was afraid. Afraid? I echo, my voice rising. You should have been honest with me. We could have faced this together. She looks up, tears streaming down her cheeks. I know. I was wrong. I was stupid. But I need your help, Jack. I can't fix this alone. I take a deep breath, trying to quell the anger boiling inside me. We'll figure it out. But there are conditions. She nods vigorously. Anything. I'll do anything. First, you'll transfer all financial control to me. I need to know exactly where every cent is going. Second, you'll cut all ties with Daniel. No more contact. Ever. She agrees without hesitation, her desperation palpable. Done. I promise. Over the next few days, I delve into our finances, uncovering the extent of the damage. Emily stands by, ready to assist, but also to give me the space I need. The more I dig, the more I realize just how deep we're in, but there's a sliver of hope. We can recover, but it will take time and strict discipline. One evening, as I'm sifting through bank statements, my phone buzzes with a call from Lisa. Her voice is urgent. Jack, we need to talk. It's about Emily. What about her? I ask, my heart pounding. Can you meet me at the park? It's important. I agree and head out, my mind filled with worry. When I arrive at the park, Lisa is waiting on a bench, looking anxious. I sit beside her, and she turns to me, her expression serious. Jack, there's something you need to know. Emily came to me a few months ago, asking for advice. She was desperate. She told me about the affair and the financial mess. But there's more. I frown, confusion mixing with dread. More? What do you mean? Lisa takes a deep breath. Emily was being blackmailed. Daniel was threatening to expose everything if she didn't continue the affair and the investments. She was trapped, Jack. The revelation hits me like a freight train. Blackmail. This changes everything. My anger shifts, replaced by a fierce need to protect Emily. Why didn't she tell me? She was scared, Lisa says gently. She thought you'd leave her. She thought you'd never forgive her. I stand, my mind racing. I need to talk to her. Thank you, Lisa. I rush home, bursting through the door to find Emily sitting on the couch. A look of fear on her face. Jack, what's wrong? I kneel in front of her, taking her hands in mine. Lisa told me everything. About the blackmail. Why didn't you tell me? Emily's eyes fill with tears. I was so scared, Jack. I didn't know what to do. I thought I could handle it, but it just kept getting worse. I pull her into my arms, holding her tightly. We're going to fix this, together. But we need to confront Daniel. He can't get away with this. She nods, her grip on me tightening. Okay. Let's do it. The next day, I arrange to meet Daniel again, this time at a secluded spot in the park. Emily insists on coming with me, her resolve stronger than ever. We arrive early, hiding behind a cluster of trees, waiting for him to show up. When Daniel finally arrives, I step out, facing him with a steely gaze. Emily follows, standing beside me. Daniel's smirk fades as he sees her, replaced by a look of uncertainty. Jack, Emily. What's this about? He asks, trying to sound casual. You know exactly what this is about, I say, my voice cold. We know about the blackmail, Daniel. It ends now. Daniel's eyes flicker with panic, but he quickly masks it. I don't know what you're talking about. Cut the crap. Emily snaps, surprising both Daniel and me with her fierceness. We have proof, and we're ready to take it to the police. Daniel's confidence wavers, and he takes a step back. All right. What do you want? Leave us alone, I say, my voice hard. No more threats, no more contact. If you ever come near us again, we'll go to the authorities. Daniel looks between us, weighing his options. Finally, he nods, his shoulders slumping in defeat. Fine. You won't hear from me again. As he turns to leave, a sense of relief washes over me, but it's tempered by the knowledge that the road ahead is still long and uncertain. I turn to Emily, seeing the same mixture of relief and determination in her eyes. We walk back to the car in silence, the weight of the past few months pressing down on us. But as we drive home, I reach over and take her hand, squeezing it gently. We'll get through this, Emily, together. She looks at me, a small smile playing on her lips. I know we will. Thank you, Jack, for giving us a second chance. As we pull into the driveway, I feel a sense of cautious hope. The storm isn't over, but we've weathered the worst of it, and for the first time in a long time, I believe we can rebuild what we've lost. Inside, I turn to Emily, pulling her close. No more secrets, no more lies. We face everything together from now on. She nods, her eyes shining with tears. I promise. No more secrets. We stand there, holding each other, the weight of the past slowly lifting. It's a new beginning, a chance to rebuild our lives and our love. And as we take the first steps on this uncertain journey, I know that as long as we're together, we can face anything. In the days that follow, we work together to sort out the financial mess, seeking help from professionals and making a plan to repay the debt. It's not easy, but each small victory brings us closer together, rebuilding the trust that was shattered. One evening, as we sit on the porch, watching the sunset, Emily turns to me, her expression thoughtful. Jack, there's something I've been wanting to tell you. I look at her, a hint of anxiety in my chest. What is it? She takes a deep breath, her eyes shining with determination. I want us to renew our vows. To start fresh, with a clean slate. The idea takes me by surprise, but as I think about it, a sense of peace settles over me. I'd like that. A new beginning. We plan a small ceremony, inviting only our closest friends and family. It's a simple affair held in the garden where we first said our vows. As we stand together, exchanging promises of love and fidelity, I feel a sense of closure and renewal. After the ceremony, as we dance under the stars, Emily looks up at me, her eyes filled with love and gratitude. Thank you, Jack, for giving us another chance, for believing in us. I smile, pulling her close. Thank you for fighting for us, for being brave enough to face the truth. As we dance, the world fades away, leaving just the two of us, bound by love and trust. The past is behind us, and the future stretches out, filled with promise and hope. And as we take each step forward, hand in hand, I know that we can overcome any obstacle, because we're stronger together, and our love is worth fighting for.